Today we are getting some messages from your spirit guides. I want this to be just kind of a little check-in with your guides, whether or not you actually resonate with the concept of spirit guides. You can just take it as a what advice or guidance am I meant to hear right now. But I want it to be kind of like a little check-in, like a little chat. Like, hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? How am I doing? Is there anything you want to tell me? Is there anything you want to talk to me about? That kind of thing. So, before we get into the group selection, as always, I want to introduce myself. My name is Juliana, and welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. If you're new here, so glad you decided to check this out. If you are a regular or a returning viewer, then I'm so happy to have you back. And I am just going to get right into the brief centering exercise. So if you're new here, I do usually do a little centering exercise before each reading, just in case anyone wants to join and just get more in touch with yourself, your intuition, your inner guidance, which can serve you throughout listening to the rest of the reading, just so you can get more in touch with what messages are really for you and feel really confident in what is for you and what is not. So that's what we're going to do. It's just like a little meditation, just a few minutes, and then we'll get into the group selection and then into the rest of the reading. So I do have timestamps in the description if you want to skip ahead at any point. So do what you want to do. And if you're joining me for the brief centering exercise, then let's get into it. So first of all, if you are currently driving or doing anything that requires your focus and attention, please do not participate in this and just wait and come back when you're ready. But if you are able to and ready, it's time to get comfortable and pick whatever kind of position you want to be in right now, whatever's most comfortable to you, and close your eyes if you feel called to. And you want to bring your attention to your breathing so we can really start to bring our attention within and get grounded in the body, because a lot of our intuition lies in our body. Sometimes it's easy to think of intuition as the images we get in our head, or sort of what people call downloads, epiphanies, information that seems to come from elsewhere, but it's really our connection to, the all that is, as I like to think of it. But a lot of that information also shows up in our bodies and in just like feelings, sensations that happen in all different parts of our body. So it's worthwhile to intentionally connect with that when we're intending to connect with our intuition. And also because, our bodies are important parts of our experience in this life as well. So you can just relax, bring your focus and attention to your breathing, and just listen to the sound of my voice as you inhale beautiful, calming, relaxing, loving energy in with every inhale. And exhale out anything that you're ready to let go of, anything that you'd like to clear, and of course, exhaling out love as well into the rest of the world. And you can just set the intention to do that as you breathe. And as you exhale, you may find yourself melting deeper into the surface that you are resting on, becoming more and more relaxed and in tune with yourself, letting go of anything that exists outside of your own intuition for the moment. Just letting go of everything, relaxing, and feeling satisfied that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment, where you're meant to be. And anything that you need to know or do will come to you in the perfect timing. So you can simply relax in this moment, knowing that everything is working out as it should be. And if you do connect with the idea of spirit guides, You may already be accustomed to connecting them in a myriad of different ways. So if you would like to connect with them however you normally do in this moment to check in, then feel free to do so. And if you aren't so sure, or if you want to connect with them differently today, you can set the intention with me, with all of us who are watching, to connect with our guides of highest love and light with the best of intentions for us and for this world and the journey that we're on, and intend to receive the guidance that they would like to give us. And, whatever good energy, good vibes, because they always have some good vibes, right? that they have for us. So you can set that intention now. Trust that you will be drawn to the group and the information that is truly meant for you, and you will hear whatever it is that you need to hear for your highest good at this time. That's in your best interest, and you will know what is for you and what is not, easily and naturally. So now, if you are ready and you're feeling grounded and centered, we can start to move over to the group selection. But of course, if you would like to stay in meditation for a little while longer, feel free to pause the video and come back when you are feeling good and centered and ready to continue. And now, let's take it to the group selection. So, as you can see, for my groups here, I have 4 groups, and I'm using the Astro Oracle, like the Star Codes Astro Oracle cards as your options today. So you can select, of course, always select based on intuition. First of all, whatever you're drawn to, you don't have to understand why logically, but just go with your intuition. Of course, for some of you, maybe there are important astrological placements that stand out to you because you have a certain sign or a certain planet energy is important to you. Whatever it is, you pick based on your intuition, and you can always pick more than one group. You can always pick one group and then decide it's not for you, pick a different one, whatever you want to do. But here are your groups. So for group 1, we have card number 6 with Virgo and the word digest. For group number 2, we have the card number 32 with Vesta and the keyword hearth. For group number 3, we have the card number 5 with the sign of Leo and the keyword of shine. And for group number 4, we have card number 22 with the planet of Mars and the keyword of motion. There we go. Okay, so take all the time you need to select your group. The timestamps will be in the description and likely the pinned comment. Although if you get here early, it might not be pinned yet, but we will have the groups in the description. So go ahead, pick your group, and I will see you over in your reading. Hi, group 1. If you selected Virgo with the keyword of digest and number 6, then you are in the right place, and this is your reading with messages from your spirit guides, a check-in from your guides, however you connect with them, or even if you're not really connecting with the idea of guides, just use it as a fun framework or thought experiment, or just take the advice and the messages that resonate with you and leave whatever doesn't. So I intend for this reading to just be like a check-in with them to see what's going on, what they want to talk to you about, if there's anything you need to know at this time, in the best interest of wherever you're at right now. And sometimes that aligns with a certain question that we've had or something that we've been thinking about or working on, but sometimes it's maybe a little bit more out of left field or something that we haven't thought of and haven't been focused on. So we'll see what it is for you today. But before we get into the tarot, I have the Mystic Mondays deck here that I'm going to be using for your reading. I also want to talk about the astrological card that you chose. And then I will close out the reading with some handmade quote cards. I do have these cards that I made that have a picture on the front, quote on the back, that I will use for closing messages. But let's first talk about your Astro Oracle card. So we have Virgo. Virgo is my moon sign. So I have a fondness for Virgo. And I've definitely, I'm definitely familiar with some of the ins and outs of the sign of Virgo and what it represents. But for anyone who's not familiar, Virgo is, I believe, excuse me. Ooh. Maybe some of you are having a little bit of trouble communicating, or you're having a little bit of some kind of disconnect with your throat chakra. Just, throwing that out there because I just coughed randomly and I did not have a cough earlier today. So, but it's the sign that I believe takes place in late August, early September. And so, maybe you are a Virgo, or that could be a significant time of year for you. If you know that there's something that you've been wondering about that's happening around that time, then this could be related to that, or just could be a sign for you. But it is, in general, a sign that is very analytical. It's also very connected with health and self-care routines. It can also be very routine-oriented. And I'm definitely getting the feeling that your guides are bringing through a message for you about, I think it's twofold. One is about potentially just your health in general, your health and self-care routines. And it also could be connected with how you think about things, or how you see something, how you make connections in your life. And when I say make connections, I don't mean with other people, although that could be something, that could be part of it. But like how you, can you see the bigger picture? Can you see the connection between the part and then its role in the greater whole of something, right? So can you see, if you're looking at one piece of a machine, can you see the role that one piece plays in the bigger picture of the machine? And what wisdom can you gain from that? What knowledge can you gain from that? And I'm thinking about this in the context of you and your individual role in the greater context of this whole existence, right? How are you seeing your inherent value? Are you seeing the way that you fit perfectly into this greater machine that is this existence, right? I definitely get the feeling that for some of you, big picture thinking is needed at this time. And it's not big picture thinking where you're missing the trees for the forest, right? You're not looking at the bigger picture at the sacrifice of the smaller picture, but rather you're seeing the connection between the smaller picture and the bigger picture. Hopefully that makes sense to some of you out there, because I definitely feel like there's more to that message that will come through in the cards. But interesting. One more thing I wanted to say about Virgo. It does talk about in the booklet how Virgo is, and we also have the word digest here, it is related to the digestive tract, the intestines and everything. And that is, how your body processes your intake, right? So there's definitely something about your intake versus your output, what you're intaking, maybe physically, what you're ingesting, but also possibly what you're ingesting in your mind, what you're taking in with your eyes and ears and all of your senses, and how that connects with whatever you're able to output. So is what you're taking in on a daily basis supporting you in what you're able to do in your life, right? What is the connection between a YouTube video that you watched and then what you happen to do with the rest of your day after you watched it, right? Did you take something in that gave you energy to work towards something that you really want to accomplish? Or did you take in something that sort of depleted your energy and made you listless and not really feel like doing anything, or feeling sad, feeling less energetic than before? So there's definitely something here about paying attention to what you are taking in and what you're allowing to go through your system, essentially, and how you're processing whatever it is that you're taking in. And maybe for some of you, literally, there's something around the digestive system that's significant. So definitely take that if it resonates as well. There might be some foods that aren't agreeing with you, or some even some routines that might not be right for you, that are just not stimulating your body in the way that you need. Maybe you need more rest, maybe you need more activity. There's definitely a lot around the body here and your health. So there's a lot of different things that are coming up here, but it all seems to center around this idea of like input and output and how you process things through your system, both literally and physically, and also like mentally and spiritually. And I feel like I just got the sense that there's some kind of shift going on with that. So you might actually be noticing that some things that used to agree with you or work for you or motivate you are not doing so anymore. And this is part of a shift in your system that's actually normal. Like it's where you're meant to be. So even though there could be, for some of you, especially if you're dealing with any like health issues, you might want to go to a health professional and seek guidance there. There might be some concerning symptoms happening. Definitely take care of anything that you need to take care of, like treat that with seriousness, but also know that it could be also part of this natural process of moving into a new phase of life where the things that you were acclimatized to before and accustomed to before are just no longer resonating with you, and you're naturally moving on. And so you might have to find new things that work better for you, for your body, for your mind, for your soul. And that's actually not a bad thing, even though it might cause some discomfort in the short term when you're figuring out, okay, wait, this doesn't work for me anymore. Like, do I need to get rid of that? Do I need to change how I'm doing this or that? That might be something that is important for you. One last thing, this was actually from the booklet as well, was the concept of not necessarily you don't need to like rush to discard certain things in your life. Like, for example, and actually I don't remember, I think this was from the Virgo section actually, but it was kind of like evaluating how you're relating with other people and not necessarily jumping to cut people out or change who you're interacting with or what you're interacting with, but rather change how you're interacting with. Yeah, it says Virgo wants you to be specific, sort and release a habit, not a person, and change how you interact, but not necessarily with whom you interact. Yeah, so it also could be worth examining like how you're interacting with certain things and people in your life, and notice what habits in those interactions are not working for you, and if there are ways that you can actually change how you interact with something that would make it work better for you. So there might be some things that you don't have to completely let go of. It's just how you've been going about it or how you've been interacting with it is not working anymore, and there's a change that is coming around that will help you moving forward. It's just you're ready to grow in some way, in some area of your life, and the thing that you're working with or interacting with is going to grow with you. That's what I'm feeling. So yeah, lots of good stuff already, but let's get into the tarot cards now. So Group 1 Spirit Guides. What do you want Group 1 to know? What do you want to communicate with Group 1 at this time? Okay, whoa. 6 of Pentacles. See, that card, I don't know if it's actually associated with Virgo, but it gives me Virgo vibes for some reason. It is Earth, and Virgo is an Earth sign. So we have the Princess of Swords, also known as the Page of Swords. Ooh, okay. The Knight of Swords. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, yeah, okay. That is definitely building on some things that we just talked about. I'm going to move this up a little bit because then we can, yeah. Hopefully the reflection isn't too terrible on these cards, but I can't really see because of the way that my setup is. All right, and then 2 more cards, please. Group 1 Spirit Guides. If there's anything else, yeah, 8 of Pentacles. And 6 of Cups. Okay, 2 sixes out here. Oh, 666. Oh, 666. Oh, and we have the Lovers here. Okay, so this could definitely be about how you're relating to other people and even to yourself. I mean, like, this is an Earth sign. This is an Earth card. It can be related, like I said, to health and physical matters. So I feel like those things can all be interconnected, right? Your relationships with yourself, your relationships with other people, your health, your body, how you're functioning. Those are all related because everything is related, right? But there's definitely... Yeah, we have 6 here. 6 is, and then the Lovers is 6. So 6 is an important number for you guys. First of all, at the time of recording, we are in the month of June, which is the 6th month of the year, at least in the calendar that we use in my neck of the woods. And so this could be a really big month for you. And perhaps what you're hearing right now in these messages is really reflective of like a theme for this month. If you're watching this during June or at the time that it goes up, but it could also be during Virgo season. But 6 could also be significant in so many other ways. It is a very balanced number. You know, it's an even number, so it's 3 and 3. And it's also, well, we have 666, so like there's a bit of humor here as well, and possibly your guides communicating humorously to you about the sign of the devil as well. So there could also be a message here about maybe relating to your health. There are some things that you're indulging in a little too much. Maybe there's a little overindulgence. Maybe there's some addictive habits that you're looking to kick, right? If that's the case, this is your sign to, yes, keep going, get rid of those habits. You are capable of doing that, and now is the time to actually do it. I do feel for a lot of people here, there are some things that are just becoming intolerable to you that you used to be able to tolerate, and that is actually a good sign. That's something that is just, it's your body's just leveling up, right? And there's certain things that it's just not going to tolerate anymore. I was actually having this conversation the other day with someone about the concept of aging and getting older, and how sometimes when people start to not be able to handle like a certain amount of alcohol anymore or sugar or whatnot, and they have to change their eating habits and how they like move and work out and stuff like that, that's a bad sign. And I actually take it as a good sign. I think that there's a lot of good to come from your body changing. While it might be difficult and uncomfortable at first, and all change can be a little frustrating when you're not used to having what you might perceive as certain limitations, it's actually, to me, I choose to view it as an opportunity to fine-tune how you're living your life and just grow up, right? And recognize that as you're growing, you're naturally ready to focus your energy on other things, and maybe even on more things, right? You're leveling up, so you have like a broader perspective on what you want to achieve in your life, or what you want to be responsible for, or things that you want to bring in and create. You're gaining more control over your life, but also more consciousness over like what's truly important to you. And in order to engage in life from that perspective with more more conscious level of creative energy, you need more energy, right? And so to start cultivating that, you need to stop giving your energy sometimes to things that are not serving it, right? It's just natural that there's certain foods you might have to let go of. There's certain habits you might have to let go of. There's certain partying that you might have to let go of a bit, right? If you want to focus your energy on other things. It's a natural part of growing up. I mean, I think that also like anything is possible, and like what we believe is really what dictates like what happens in our lives. And there's beliefs that are individual and also universal, and so like anything is possible, anything can happen. But I would say if you are going through like changes in your body, if there's a way that you can take that as a good sign rather than a bad sign, then you're being encouraged to do so. You're being encouraged to choose how you see it, and to work with your body rather than against it, and to start to take even like things that are that are uncomfortable in the moment as an opportunity to be a greater ally to your body, and that your body is being an ally to your dreams and goals as well. Yeah. So with the 6 of Pentacles here, I feel, especially with this particular card, it's about finding balance. And this person is in a meditative seat, I feel like, for a reason. So there's obviously the spiritual, like, intuitive benefits of meditating, where you get more in touch with your intuition. And that is related to how you're in touch with your body, as I talked about actually in the brief centering exercise in the beginning. But it's also like, there's just physical benefits, like, to meditating, to learning to really relax and calm your body and get into a balanced state. And I feel like that's really emphasizing here that like whatever gets you into a more meditative, calm state is healthy for you and will have long-term benefits the more often and more regularly you engage in those acts. So it could be literally meditation, but it could also be like just sitting in silence for a little while without even the intention of like meditating or anything, but just like removing yourself from, say, like your phone, right? Because we were talking a lot about input and output, and like how you got to be paying attention to how your input dictates your output, right? And so yeah, if you spending a lot of time on your phone is draining your energy, just spending a few minutes that you would have spent on your phone sitting in silence, or like reading a physical book. I had a conversation with a friend about this the other day as well. Instead of scrolling on your phone, picking up a physical copy of a book and reading that for a few minutes or longer when you would have been scrolling can be a good way to start to break that habit down. And give you like just more peace and quiet to work with, right? For some people, reading a book is too much mental stimulation. You really just need to be in quiet and peace and not take anything in. For some people, that's maybe not going to be the easiest thing, right? There might be a transitionary phase, or maybe you just want to spend more time reading books or something, right? Like maybe that gets you into a really relaxed and meditative state, and that's your thing that you want to do. Something like knitting, something like drawing, anything, weeding your garden, anything like that is definitely being encouraged at this time. With the Princess of Swords and the Knight of Swords here, I was drawn to the way that they both are facing away from each other. Excuse me. Yeah, okay, so this is about communication issues, for sure. So you might have a specific relationship in your life where you're experiencing some issues in communication, or you're looking to improve your communication overall. Like maybe you feel like you've reached a new level with someone in a relationship, or you are looking to reach a new level, or just in general, you're maybe feeling like you want to improve your communication with everyone in your life. I feel like this is coming through really strong. But what I feel like with the Princess of Swords and the Knight of Swords facing away from each other, there could be maybe if there is another person specifically involved in this, you might be taking some time to yourselves to reflect on your own, both, like this could represent both of you, reflecting on your own ways of how you communicate, what's been effective in the past, what hasn't been effective, what's working, what's not working, and sharpening your sword, so to speak, like paying attention, like to how you communicate and actively, consciously shifting the narratives that you tell yourself and the narratives that you speak to other people and the way that you communicate. Yeah. So you're definitely being encouraged. Again, this is almost like the output to your input, right? Like noticing how what you're taking in all day, every day is impacting how you're communicating outwards to other people, how you're expressing yourself. And I definitely feel like if you have been working on communication with another person, then you're on the right track. Like that's definitely, it's in the cards here that can improve, that you're both, it seems like there are two people here who are both equally motivated to work on your communication. And you might both have different ways of going about that. You might have different ways of thinking about communication, but you're both reflecting on it and working on it. So also keep this in mind if you've been having some arguments lately, or you had a disagreement with someone. This to me shows two people reflecting on the situation and each honing their own skills about how they'd like to communicate better in the future. So there's definitely an encouragement to continue on that path, or to start reflecting more deeply if you haven't yet in terms of how you communicate, like noticing where you might have some things that you can work on in that area. And with the Eight of Pentacles here, that goes back to just what I was saying about focusing the mind on things that get you into a flow state, that give you energy rather than take your energy. Literally for some of you, physically, like painting could be a meditative act for you, but it's literally anything that gets you into that flow state. And if you're not really familiar with the flow state, you can also like research and look up like what it is about. But it's really the state where something's just flowing for you. It's coming easily. You're not necessarily thinking too much. You're just kind of doing. And that can happen once you get into a groove. It's a sort of hypnotic state. And as someone who is a hypnotist, I definitely, I believe in the power of being in that state. And that level of focus is really what helps you create your reality, not just create something. Like if you're in that level of focus, usually you are in the process of creating. But also just like you're always creating, whether you're physically making a painting or not, right? You're creating your whole life, you're creating your whole experience. And so getting into the flow state more often where things are flowing easily for you, even if you're just doing that in maybe one situation in your life where you're just like, every time you're like drawing, you're really focused and you're flowing, right? You might not always flow outside of that, but at least you have that environment in which you can get into that state. And then the more you're used to being in that state, the more likely it is that you can bring that into the rest of your life. And more of your life can feel like it's just flowing, like it's just easy. And that's what I feel like these upgrades, because I just got the word upgrades, that's what I feel like these upgrades are bringing to you. So that's why if there's physical discomfort at this time, if there's changes that you're making in your diet and your exercise and your daily health routines, it's all serving this purpose of just getting you more into a flow and aligning yourself with things and practices that help maintain that for you. And with the Six of Cups here, well, I noticed how it kind of looks like wine glasses. So that could be a reference to potentially, like, if you do drink alcohol, just noting your intake. But I also feel like there's a little bit of like it's okay to still indulge once in a while, right? Like not going too hard on yourself for maybe in the past overindulging, or like when you have moments where you want, like your body is actually craving, like not from like a really addictive kind of way, but just in a way of like, you know what, I like, that sounds good to me. It sounds like a glass of wine. Like I feel good about that. You know, my body just feels like it can handle that right now. That's okay. You can still engage in moderation with things as long as they don't, like hurt you severely in the moment, but also as long as it feels right to you on a deeper level than just, I need to get my fix, right? And I feel like you're someone who, as you're going through this process, if you're not already familiar with like the difference between an addictive kind of feeling and a more like intuitive knowing of like, yeah, this is what I want, you will get more familiar with that as you go through this process, as you detox. Because yeah, Virgo can be very much about detoxing. I believe the liver is also associated with Virgo, but correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so there's also, yeah, there's this this concept of moderation here. Six of Cups can also be sometimes like a soulmate or past life connection or childhood as well. So there could be something significant about your childhood that could be connected with some of the habits or things that are not connecting with you anymore. So maybe there's some nostalgia connected with certain foods and things that you don't want to let go of, but maybe you do need to limit at this time. Or maybe there's something from your past that can actually like help you with what you're doing now. Like maybe there was a certain kind of food that you used to eat or way that you used to live your life that actually was good for you and that maybe you want to return to at this time. So it might be worth looking into that. But I also get the sense just with the Lovers card here that there are people in your life who can help you. There might be one particular person who is really good for you in this area. So if there's someone who you know who is either like very health conscious in a way that inspires you and is like non-toxic is like the word that's coming to me. Like not someone who's like really maybe like uber restrictive and like body shaming themselves all the time or things like that. Like, but someone who's just really into taking care of themselves in a healthy way, they might be able to help you through this. Maybe there are people who, even if they're not like the most health conscious people around, they take good care of themselves in a way that inspires you. And maybe there's other people who also care for you, who can inspire you to care for yourself in the way that they care for you. I honestly, I got the phrase like, this is kind of, it's like, take care of your body like it's mine. So like if there's someone whose health you really care about and who you really want to see take care of themselves or who you want to take care of, it's like, take care of yourself like you want to see them take care of themselves. You know what I mean? Like if it's easier to see it through that lens, if maybe that makes it easier for you to take care of yourself in that way and to feel more aligned with taking care of your own body, that might be a good way to come at it from. Like if there's someone who, yeah, take care of yourself like you really want to take care of someone that you love, you know? Think of it as like you taking care of your own body is like taking the same as taking care of that other person, because we are all connected. We are all, especially like the closer we are with people, the more time we spend physically with people, like, you know, we all rub off on each other. So just see it as like you taking care of you is taking care of another person or other people around you. And the more you do, the more you'll see that reflected in their lives as well. They'll be inspired by you, or they'll feel energized by your energy, and it will be something that will radiate out to other people that you love. Yeah. Okay. So that's really nice. So I'm going to close out now with some with just a few quote cards, any other messages, last minute messages from your spirit guides, and what they want you to know, what they want you to take away from this reading. So, spirit guides. Also, I feel like your spirit guides are here to let you know that they really love you and will support you in this endeavor. So if you just want to ask them for signs, ask them to bring things to you, ideas, books, speakers, foods that resonate with your body and your health and your goals, they will do it. They will rise to the occasion, and all you have to do is ask. So, Group 1 spirit guides, any closing messages that you want to leave Group 1 with for this reading? Any closing messages for Group 1? Okay, and then there's another pile, so I'm going to get one more. Group 1 spirit guides, any closing messages for them? Any closing messages? Okay. So, Group 1, we have this card here, this kind of like tree looking thing on, and that just feels like very Virgo, like, because Virgo can be really about like sowing seeds, about the harvest. So this, like, I feel like this is, you're growing into this like expansive, you're expanding, you're growing, and your roots are growing, and like physically you're growing. And maybe even like for you, like there is, like you are physically going through like some kind of like, I mean, we're always growing even if we're not children, right? Like children go through like really extreme growth, but like there's some way in which you are growing, and physically your body also is expanding, I think, to hold more energy, to create more, to do more. And so, yeah, you're just going through this really natural process of growth that, again, might come with some discomfort, but as long as you are paying attention to your body, really listening to it and taking care of it as best you can, it will bring you where you want to go. So we have the quote, which says, "Every individual is a unique manifestation of the whole, as every branch is a particular outreaching of the tree," from Alan Watts. Yeah, every individual is a unique manifestation of the whole, as every branch is a particular outreaching of the tree. That brings me back to what I was saying in the beginning about like seeing how each individual piece of something connects to the greater whole. And it's also something that is, it's kind of said in the booklet as well, which I didn't want to read from because I didn't want to take time from the rest of the reading, but I did go through before this. And yeah, it's like, yeah, and this is you. I feel like it's recognizing your individual, like how you connect individually with the greater whole of the universe, like finding your individual role, and not in a way where you have to go out and find it and seek it and like become it, but more like what you already are. You already are that piece of the puzzle, and you are also growing into and continuing to evolve into an ever-changing, ever-growing piece of the puzzle that fits with the ever-changing, ever-growing existence that we are in. And also that this kind of mindset, this kind of way of looking at life and at other people in particular, perhaps, is going to be very helpful for you going forward, because to me, this is about seeing the value and worth in every interaction, in every person, in every piece of the puzzle, like rather than focusing on what's not working or like what it's not meant to be. Like you're focusing on like the value of something rather than the lack of value. And the example from the booklet that they use is like when you are separating the wheat from the chaff, the wheat is the part that you create food from, but the chaff is not edible in that way, or at least not preferred. I don't know if it's 100% not edible, but it's not edible, not used for food. And yet, as the wheat is growing, the chaff protects the wheat. And so it does have its role. Just because it's not edible does not mean that it has no value. So you're turning away from focusing on the things that something or someone cannot do, and you are focusing on the things that they do, that they are made for, that they are meant for. And that includes yourself, and that also includes other people. So if there is another specific person involved in your life right now that was resonating when we were talking about the communication thing, I feel like you are both learning to really focus on what you individually can do, as opposed to putting all the focus on what you think that you can't do or what you don't bring to the table or whatever. And you're also doing that for the other person. You're seeing, okay, rather than focusing on like what this person doesn't bring to my life, I'm focusing on what they do. Like, what is their value? Why are they here? And why do I love them? And also just like, you don't need reasons to love. You just love, right? But why do we fit? Why do we fit? Why do we work? Why do things work with this person? And realizing that anything that you perceive that they don't bring to you, maybe they're just not meant to. Maybe that's not their role, and maybe that's okay. Maybe there's other people or yourself who can fulfill those things that you see that seem to be missing, right? It's not putting that on a person, not putting something on someone that they're not meant to, not putting a role on someone that they're not meant to fulfill, because that's just not who they are in this moment, right? And doing the same for yourself, and focusing instead on, okay, but like, what do they fulfill? How are they showing up? And what have I learned? What has been valuable? What is valuable here? What do they bring? Yeah, and taking that as their intentional role in all of this, and yours as well. And seeing from that perspective allows you to be easy about yourself and who you are and where you're at, and others as well. And this message is also going to resonate with that. We have this unicorn here. Love a unicorn, very pretty. And the quote says, "Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance." From Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I'm going to read that again because I always read it in like the wrong way, because I think the sentence is going somewhere else. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. Exactly what I just said. Exactly what I just said. It's like you really tapping into what you bring, as opposed to focusing on what you perceive that you don't, also helps you accept yourself and slot into the world in a way where you feel accepted also by the rest of the world as well. It reflects that acceptance back to you. And you can also, and in turn, accept others and accept other parts of the world that maybe once you found it difficult to accept for exactly who and what they are in this moment. Beautiful. Perfect. We love that. Okay, so Spirit Guides, thank you for bringing these messages for Group 1. Group 1, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope this was helpful for you. And thank you for being here and for watching this reading. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I would love to know how this resonated. And if you're interested in a personal tarot reading, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description. And we also do hypnosis and human design services. We being me and my mom. I work with my mom. So feel free to check those out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye! Hi Group 2, if you selected the card Vesta with the number 32 and the keyword of hearth, then you are in the right place, and this is your reading with a message from your spirit guides. So whether or not you connect with the concept of spirit guides, there still could be messages here for you, but I am intending to bring through information from your spirit guides that aligns with your highest good, because your spirit guides that are in highest love and light can only align with your highest good, and that is the intention here. So that's who we're connecting with. Group 1 was already very interesting and fun, and I have a feeling, without getting even into your reading yet, that some of you might actually resonate with both groups here, because Vesta, Virgo, both V's, and there were some similar like impressions I was getting when I first pulled your cards as well. So if you're here from Group 1, welcome. If you we're also thinking about checking out group 1, you might want to do that too, but you can do that after this. Let's get into your reading, your messages from your guides. So I wanted this to be kind of like a check-in. So like whatever they wanted to say, like just kind of like, hey, how's it going? This is where we're at, that kind of thing. But I'm going to first talk about your Astro Oracle card, and then we'll get more information from the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck, and we'll close out with my handmade quote cards that I like to use. It's just, if you're new here, there's a picture that I drew on the front, a quote on the back, and I will use that for closing messages. So let's get into your Astro Oracle card, Vesta, with the keyword of hearth. So Vesta is, actually, I don't know if Vesta is like an asteroid or a celestial body of some other kind, maybe a moon. But the important thing is that Vesta is also the name of a goddess of home and hearth. I believe this is the Roman version of, could it be the Roman version of Hestia? You know what? Don't quote me on that. The important part is that the main idea I was getting when reading up on this card is that we are returning to our center here. So this is your spirit guides letting you know that it's time to get centered, to return home, either literally or more likely like spiritually, figuratively, like getting really connected with yourself. There's a bit of hermit energy I'm getting from this card. Hermit is also Virgo, so that's why group 1 with the Virgo card was coming through as well. So yeah, there definitely might be some of you coming from group 1, but we also have 5, 32 reduces to 5, and in numerology 5 is a number of change. So I'm really getting the sense of like, if you are going through a lot of chaos or change right now, or you're simply being impacted by the chaos and change going on in the world in general right now, there is a call for you to return to your center, return home, and get centered throughout this change, right? Like I'm getting this feeling of like, almost like you taking the place of this little asteroid thing here in the center, which I guess represents Vesta, and you kind of being in your own like little, I don't want to say like bubble, but kind of, and like being very centered and like just at peace as whatever is going on goes on around you, right? And that's kind of the visual that I'm getting. And that doesn't have to be literal in terms of like you don't go out and do anything in the world, but more like there's always a piece of you that is just completely aligned with yourself and just completely at peace and like just centered in your knowing that like, in your knowing of like the, like your deeper spiritual self that cannot be influenced, touched, or harmed by anything. And getting in touch with that piece of you will help you, I want to say navigate this change, but I don't feel like it's like you're not navigating this change because you're not controlling the change. You're kind of like staying steady as the change happens. It just goes on around you and you can't really like control it or do anything about it, but you're not resigned to it. You're surrendered in very much the spiritual sense where you are calm and at peace because it's almost like your control is in the letting go, right? Your control is in yourself and how you relate to the change and relate to yourself. Yeah. So we are getting centered in this group. So some of you might have been feeling centered already in this, and this is letting you know like that you're on the right path, that this is where you're meant to be right now. Others of you might not be feeling so centered. You might be feeling like really chaotic, and that is totally natural and normal. So we're going to talk with your spirit guides about how to return to yourself. I also just got returning to your sense of self. So some of you, similar to group 1, might be dealing with a case of like a feeling decentered by just being overwhelmed by how much you're taking in at this time, especially if you're like, say, scrolling a lot on social media and watching a lot of the news and just taking in a lot of chaos. And it's hard to stay centered in that. There's also this idea of like not knowing who to believe or where to turn and feeling very overwhelmed, trying to keep up. And again, there's this sense of like returning to self, decluttering and decentering all of these chaotic resources in your life so that you can actually get back in touch with yourself and find your center again, find yourself. And from that place, only then will you be able to actually connect with with the truth of your reality, with the things that are actually meant for you, the things that are actually valuable to you. But you have to quiet the noise. That's what I'm getting. So yeah, let's get into your tarot cards to get more information about what your spirit guides want to talk about. So group 2 spirit guides, what do you want to talk to group 2 about right now? What are we checking in with group 2 about right now? King of Swords, yeah, okay. King of Pentacles, okay. 4 of Pentacles. The High Priestess. Okay, so lots of blues and greens and purples here. Lots of cool colors here. And then one more card, please. 8 of Pentacles. That actually came out in the last group. So yeah, there's definitely some similar messages. This one we'll talk about it more. There might be more messages from it, but yeah, this is definitely about being discerning with what you put your focus on. Being so deliberate about how you focus and what you focus on. On the bottom of the deck, 2 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is like very like balancing practical everyday life, like your practical everyday needs. Yeah, and so this could literally also be like paying attention to your home, like your physical home, and the peace or chaos that exists there, and tending to that, tending to your hearth, literally like cleaning your home, making it a more peaceful place, making it a place that you can seek sanctuary in, because even if you are going out into the world and there are certain things that you can't avoid, or certain things that you want to take part in that decenter you, you can then come back to a space where you feel centered and safe. And even if you don't have the best situation right now, the best home situation to create that in, if you can create like some kind of space, and even if that space has to be like within yourself, like I'm thinking of like creating your own spiritual kind of place, like when you go into meditation, like imagining a safe, sacred place for you, and just like letting that, first of all, like creating it intentionally where you might have certain things that you want to be present in there, but also like letting that unfold for you in a meditation, and then like being able to revisit that place whenever you need to feel centered. That's what I'm getting. And okay, so with the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles, these could represent you. They could also represent like figures, people in your life. Like I was kind of getting almost like King of Swords, King of Pentacles could represent like masculine figures in your life. It could in general represent like people like politicians, like literal figureheads, you know, things like that. That could be, for some people, maybe interfering with your ability to feel centered, especially if you're giving a lot of power to them and paying a lot of attention to them. And for those of you for whom that resonates, I do want to say there is a definite need to not feed the delusion that any of these powerful quote unquote people actually have any control over your life. Now, on a 3D practical level, that might sound insane, because there might be a lot of things you can point to and be like, well, they do have control, right? But the point is that we're creating a reality, creating a world, creating a belief system of empowerment that doesn't require anyone to have power over you. That doesn't allow anyone to have power over you. And in order to do that, you might have to seem a little delusional at times to yourself, because you are retraining yourself to have power and control in your life, and to believe that you have power and control in your life. Because if you're here at one of these readings, you probably have some spiritual and esoteric beliefs, and part of that is believing in things that you haven't believed in before, and believing in creating what you don't yet see or experience in your life. And one of those things that you might be looking to create is the sense of power over your own life, rather than feeling like other people, other entities outside of you have power over your life. And it doesn't mean that you don't take certain practical actions that you see as circumventing certain types of power. You know, whatever you're intuitively drawn to, whatever is makes sense for you to do, and how you want to respond in certain situations. Yes, go with that. Trust your intuition, and what feels right for you. But do it from a place of empowerment. Do it from a place of knowing that you are in control of yourself and no one else is, because you don't want to, like, someone else created the reality where they're like, yeah, I want to be in control of people and I want to be in charge and tell people what to do and where to go and influence them, right? And like, that's their fantasy. Okay, well, they're living it, right? You can see that. What's yours? What reality do you want to live in? And if it's not theirs, then start extricating yourself from someone else's reality, from someone else's delusion, from someone else's fantasy, and start creating your own and legitimizing that. And I feel like if you've been putting a lot of power or a lot of your identity and time and life into someone else's delusion and fantasy, even by rejecting it and not liking it, but focusing on it, you might not even know like what you truly want, because it's hard for you to even believe that that's possible. But returning to Vesta, to your hearth, to your home, to yourself, and blocking out that noise right now and getting centered in what is truly you, that is where you will reconnect with that sense of self. You will reconnect. Yeah, with this Four of Pentacles, I'm feeling like you're drawing your energy back in. You're holding on to what is truly you, and you're not letting anything else come in. I feel like this is a time to retreat, a time to come home to yourself. That doesn't mean that you stay there forever, right? Like the Hermit card, like sometimes you got to go into a hermit mode in order to re-emerge, right? But we have the High Priestess here, who I sometimes, even though I think she's like more of a counterpart to the Hierophant, I see her sometimes as a counterpart to the Hermit, and the sort of feminine energy of that. And the High Priestess, to me, it gives the vibes of someone who is very much centered in themselves, very connected with their intuition. I'm feeling like there's a lot of heart energy and like third eye energy here, crown chakra energy. And you're getting like into your upper chakras. You're getting out of survival mode, really. I feel like this returning to yourself and centering yourself, you're reconnecting with like your root and your lower chakras, and that's allowing you to align with your higher chakras, your more intuitive senses, the more esoteric and spiritual senses. And so that is allowing you to see and engage with the reality that you're looking to create, which is much more grounded in the things that you value, which connecting with those things, again, it might require you once again to hermit yourself a little bit, to take some time to yourself. I can also see this King of Swords and King of Pentacles, rather than representing exclusively operators outside of yourself who you view having more power than you, as also some signposts of who you want to be, in terms of a King of Swords in the most positive sense, being very mentally clear and mentally strong, and having strong barriers around what they allow into their mental space, while also being very sharp, very smart, very quick-witted, and able to filter and take in the information that's valuable to them and discard what isn't, without becoming overwhelmed mentally, overstimulated mentally. And the King of Pentacles, very grounded in the material world and very stable in the material world, but in a positive sense, from a place of true wealth, of a connection with the concept of abundance that comes from a greater source rather than from the exploitation of other people, which, believe it or not, is possible and real, and it's on us to decide that is how we want to live our lives and to make that happen, right? It is ultimately our own responsibility to live up to our own standards, and to also believe that we can do that and also have the kinds of material success that we want, right? I see this as someone who's very successful, and maybe the success that you have doesn't look like the success that has been venerated a lot in society in recent years, but it also is possible to have a level of success and also maintain your true center, who you really are. And I feel like the positive aspects of the King of Swords and King of Pentacles are people who are powerful in their own right, but in a way that is, it comes from them. It doesn't come from how they exert that over other people. It's just like inherent to them. And that's what this Four of Pentacles, I feel like you building your foundations, your solid foundation, you have to go within, you have to bring your resources and reserves back to you, focus on you, and that will create the foundation from which you can actually create from a genuine space that is powerful and that is focused. Yeah, this is, again, Eight of Pentacles. Where you place your focus is important. Are you focused on how you're disempowered, or are you focused on how you are empowered? Are you able to see all the different pathways and opportunities that might be available to you, even if the one that you thought was the only way isn't, right? Yeah. Like is there a specific example that I can give, Spirit? Okay. So if there's, for example, a particular job path that you want, but for certain reasons you have these beliefs that you will not be selected for this job path because there's something about the process that might be unfair, or weighted towards other people. There's a trend in society, a trend in belief systems that people like you or people in your situation don't easily get these opportunities. So that might not be open to you. There's a path or potential where you spend your time fighting against that, trying to go down roads that will simply not allow you in, that don't respect you in the way that you deserve to be respected, and that you'll keep knocking on doors that don't want to open for you. And now, of course, there's certain places where like maybe that's what you're called to do. Maybe you know that after a certain amount of time you will break a wall down and that's where you want to be, and you will make progress there. But in some cases, if you're focusing on what you can't have and trying to get something that you still believe that you can't have and focusing on how unfair it is, then you're not putting energy into another path that might actually lead you more to where you want to be, a path that you can create, another opportunity that might seem harder on the surface because it's not clear and obvious. It's not already laid out for you. It's not something that you have an obvious example of potentially. It's not something that you know step by step what path you're going to take, and you're going to you don't have it laid out for you, but it actually might be the better, more satisfying and more aligned path for you. And you are, in those cases, it's more necessary for you to rely on your intuition, on the esoteric, on the things that you can't see before you, on the momentary intuitions that you get, that you can only get if you're coming from a place that is very centered and connected with yourself. And it might actually be, in a way, the easier path, because with the Eight of Pentacles here, similar to a message that came through in group 1, to me this is about ease and flow, and just getting into a flow state, focused flow. When you're creating a painting, if you're an artist of any kind, you'll be familiar with this process. Like you might, and at least for me, this is how I create, right? I might have an idea in my head when I start of like what I want it to look like, but ultimately the process of creating it is a lot different from like looking at it in my head. And through that process of creation, the painting takes shape in ways that I would never have expected. Things come to you in the moment. You do one brushstroke and it does something and it changes the whole painting. You're like, okay, wait, like then if I do this and I do that, and then the picture starts to form, and sometimes it takes a different shape than you would have thought. You get inspired as you take each step. With each brushstroke, the picture, you change the picture and you see something in a way that you didn't before, and that leads you to take a different step than you would have taken if you hadn't even started the painting, right? And so that's the thing, is that you're from recentering with yourself and connecting back to just only your energy and your energy alone. You're finding the ability to get into the flow state and to follow your intuition into a new world, into a new path that hasn't already been laid out for you, because you're learning how to trust the next step and the next step and the next step, rather than the paths of those who have come before you, who have laid out a path that you don't want to follow because it goes against what you believe in or what you agree with or the way that you want to act and be and show up in the world. You can fully have everything that you want, but it's also going to take some flexibility, some willingness to learn, change, and grow, and an understanding that as you take each step, the way that you move, the way that you think about the world, the way that you move through the world will change and grow with you, and you can't understand or know what that's going to look like until you start. Yeah. But if that sounds like really lofty and grand, just let's reel it back in for a moment, because we're just starting with you. You're starting with just building your own foundation, coming back to yourself, balancing your day-to-day physical and mental and emotional and spiritual needs, and building your foundation slowly, getting rid of and noticing what is not your home, what does not belong to you, what you don't want in your space, figuratively and literally, and clearing that out and setting the stage, building the nest for the future, for the life that you want to create. And if you build it, they will come, right? That's not Angels in the Outfield. That's the other baseball movie. Field of Dreams. Yeah. If you build it, they will come. It's kind of like you're building your home, like your metaphorical, your spiritual, and also your literal home that will house and align with the like things that you want to create. Almost like you're building like a literal nest for your like eggs to hatch or whatever. Like what does the world that you want to see need in order to thrive, in order to grow? Okay, so I'm going to close out with some, you know what, I'm going to take this. Some last minute or some final quote cards with final words from your spirit guides. So group 2 spirit guides, is there anything else that you want to say to group 2? Okay. So we have this card here. Yeah, beautiful, bright, sunshiny, joy. Yeah, you're really reconnecting with your center. It's also like getting like almost like a glow in your heart space, right? Your literal center. Whatever brings you that glow of joy and connection, that's a signpost for you. That's something that, yeah, with invested there, like, yeah, that's almost, I feel like that's almost representing like at your core what lights you up and what gives you that feeling that like this glowing sun, that glowing orb evokes in you. And this says, isn't it amazing how every day can be an adventure? From Anne with an E. Yes, yeah, taking the unknown of the path that you're on and the unknowns of the things that you want to create as an adventure, as an exciting opportunity. Like really channeling Bilbo Baggins from the Hobbit movies. Like, I'm going on an adventure. Every single day you're going on an adventure, you know? You don't have to know exactly where it's leading. Just trust that it is leading you in the right path as long as you are connected with yourself and feeling your way through it. Aligning with things that you know are aligned with you and learning what things are not and letting those go. Those are not for you, and that's fine. You can do it. You can do it the way that you want to do it. All right, and we have this card. So music might be significant. That might be something that helps you connect with your center, or like your favorite songs might point you towards things that you value, that you want to focus on. Again, where you put your focus is very important. And this says, life is like music for its own sake. We are living in an eternal now, and when we listen to music, we are not listening to the past. We are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. From Alan Watts. I'm going to read it again. Life is like music for its own sake. We are living in an eternal now, and when we listen to music, we are not listening to the past. We are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. Yes. So bringing yourself back to your center, to your home space. Like when I was talking about all the things about like creating a future and maybe having like grand visions of like what you want the world to be, that's part of it, but that's not your focus, right? Like your step one is really just getting into your present right now. What feels good? What feels bad? What feels what? Like, what do you feel? What's going on? Just observing, just listening, meditating, whatever it is, getting into the present and knowing that in each present moment, as long as you are listening, the next step the steps that you want to take, the things that you want to do will reveal themselves to you. And the more that you just stay in the present, stay grounded, stay connected to yourself, the more you'll learn to trust that, trust yourself, and flow through life so much more easily. Yeah. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you to your spirit guides. Thank you to you for watching this reading. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear how this resonated. And if you're interested in a personal reading, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com. The link is in the description if you want to check that out. We also offer hypnosis services and human design. We being me and my mom. I work with my mom. And yeah, if you... Nope, that's it. Thank you again for watching this reading. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye. Hi, Group 3. If you selected the card number 5 with Leo and the word shine on it, then you are in the right place, and this is your reading with messages from your spirit guides. I intend this to be like a little check-in with your guides. If there's anything that they want to bring up, they can bring it up. And if you don't resonate with the concept of spirit guides, you could still get messages from this reading, so keep your mind open. And yeah, I'm going to begin by talking a bit more about the astrology card that you chose, and then we're going to get some more messages from the Mystic Mondays Tarot and also from my handmade quote cards that I made. Those messages will close out the reading. And yeah, we'll just see what guidance your guides want to bring through, and your highest good and highest love and light, all that, good stuff, whatever it is that is most useful for you to hear right now. So with the card of Leo coming through, first of all, some of you obviously might be Leos or have significant Leo placements, but that does not have to be the case. Regardless, the energy of Leo is significant for you here. Now, the number 5 is in numerology a number of change, typically. And I also, the number of the card for group 2 reduced to the number 5 in numerology. So maybe there's some messages in group 2 that resonate with you. But with Leo, I almost feel like you're like, it's like there's like the transition from where group 2 was out to where you're at. It's like, I feel like you... Oh yeah, the messages coming through. It's like, okay, in group 2, they were talking about, returning to their center and tending to their hearth. And I was getting towards the end this like idea of like this glowing yellow light within the heart space, right? That like you're finding what stokes your fire, what stokes that feeling in you, and you're tending to it, and you're returning to yourself, and you're tending to that. Almost like withdrawing your energy within for a while. With Leo, I'm getting the vibes that you, whoever you are, whatever you're up to, you're at this stage where you've already maybe done that. Like you've focused on yourself, you focused on your own home and hearth, you focused on your own energy for a while. And with Leo, you are ready to shine that energy out to others. So Leo can be connected with the idea of self-centeredness, but really it's kind of like the sun, right? The sun is the center of the solar system because it is bigger, it draws other planets in, but it also gives off light. It helps us live on this planet, right? It's very generous in that sense. It's an energy source. And you, in your own way, have gotten to a place where you're ready or willing or able to be an energy source where you're able to, you've stoked enough of your own fire, you've created enough of your own energy, resources, whatever, that you naturally are radiating that out to people around you. And yeah, there's sometimes an egotism to Leo, a generosity. There's sometimes an egotism and self-centeredness to Leo, but there's also a generosity to Leo. Clearly, that word really wanted to come out. So generosity is a big theme here, and generosity is not just giving like things to other people or physically like being generous. Generosity is also generosity of spirit, generosity in how you look at and see other people and things and yourself, being generous with how you interpret other people's words and actions, and choosing to see them in the best light, and also choosing to see yourself in the best light. And yeah, there's something really, I'm getting a very positive, energized kind of feeling from this group. And I don't know if that's your guides coming through, like that's just their energy, or they're kind of reflecting to me what your energy is at right now. But yeah, let's see what else they have to say about this group 3. Group 3's guides. What messages do you have for group 3 at this time? Interesting. 2 of Pentacles reversed. Group 3's guides. Ooh, okay. Ace of Swords. These are coming out like really violently. Okay. Group 3's guides. 8 of Swords reversed. The Lovers card. Okay. And then one more card. One more card, please, for group 3. Your guides are being very forceful. 10 of Cups. Okay, wow. Yeah, wait, yeah, okay. Ooh. 2 of Pentacles. Okay. Interesting. Bottom of the deck, the World. Yeah, okay, so like you're definitely at the end of some kind of cycle. We have this like Leo, like represented by the Sun, and the World. Yeah, okay, so some kind of like cycle, like you're in a new cycle right now. Yeah. So I definitely that idea, that energy that I was getting in the beginning of like having maybe gone through a time of being very much like self-focused, withdrawn, keeping to yourself, maybe even in a place of self-centeredness, that was necessary. It was where you were supposed to be at because you were tending to yourself. You were growing your own energy, essentially. You were figuring out who you were, and you were tending to your own fire and your own hearth. And I feel like there's a cycle of that has ended, where in some way, maybe in general or maybe in some area of your life, you're ready to now extend back out into the world, or in some way share yourself with others or another, because we do have the Lovers here. So there could be something about like a love relationship with the Lovers and the 10 of Cups next to each other. There's something about like a happy ending, like a family life, a future, present and future emotional fulfillment and satisfaction. And so yeah, there could be definitely a message here about specifically like a romantic relationship or like a happily ever after kind of thing, a ultimate like happy ending kind of thing. But it's just, yeah, I feel like you're ready to be happy in the world. Like you're ready to put yourself out there in some kind of way, in whatever way is natural to you, because Leo shines naturally. So it's really this acceptance of your natural gifts and how those radiate out to other people, and how you naturally have a lot to offer and to bring to the people in your life and to the world in general. Yeah, there's definitely some extension of the messages here from the other groups beforehand. So I feel like we're almost like, there might be some that resonate for multiple people. There's also sort of a progression here of like, almost like step 1, step 2, step 3. And then in this step 3, it's like, if you're here, you're ready to radiate your energy. You're ready to share. You're ready to be yourself, and recognize how that is enough, and how you also have a lot to give and offer, and you can do so joyfully and confidently. There's a lot of confidence in Leo. So with the 2 of Pentacles reversed being here, this is giving me, particularly in this case, like not getting too caught up in like the little details or the day-to-day, like I'm also getting the word waffling. So like not getting caught up in like quibbling about little details, about little things, getting too caught up in like the specifics, the little moments, the things where like I could see someone having a nervous habit of like nitpicking at details, or getting distracted by like, oh, this little thing is off here, so like the whole thing is ruined, right? Like that kind of thing. It's like you're getting out of that mindset. Like you're releasing that, because that is a defense mechanism. It's a distraction essentially from you just being at peace with yourself in the present moment. That's what it's feeling like. It's almost like, I feel like that's the cycle that you're ending here, is recognizing those little habits that have that and I feel like a lot of you have kind of already gone through, like you already know, like you're already aware, and you've probably already made a lot of progress in terms of releasing like little distractions and defense mechanisms that kept you from cultivating your own energy and like shining your light and just like being who you are in the world without like it's almost like you were you there might be some things that you were using as distractions that it was intentional. It might have been unconscious, but it was intentional on your part because part of you was afraid to just shine in the world, just be at your full capacity. And your full capacity could look like anything. It doesn't mean that you have to, like Leo can be a very outgoing, very out there showy card. It doesn't mean that you have to be that way naturally, but it's like whatever way that you contribute naturally to the world and show up naturally in your power. As long as it's in your power, it could look like anything, right? And there were certain things that you were using as distractions, consciously or unconsciously, to keep you out of your power, to deplete your energy, that you're just simply no longer paying as much attention to. With the Ace of Swords here, that's a clear mind, right? That's a clear mind that can focus on one thing at a time, or focus on what is most important, can pick the most important sword out of the bunch and give your energy and attention to that. And that, I feel like, is where you're at. So even if you're not feeling like you're fully in this Leo energy of like just feeling generally confident in yourself and in what you have to contribute, your spirit guides are basically saying like, this is what you've actually been working towards, whether you know it or not, and you're ready to step more into this power in whatever unique way that you are confident and you do shine just naturally. And so, yeah, if there are things that you can recognize in your day-to-day life that are maybe these kinds of distractions that do get in the way of you just like living your life and being like who you are, being true to yourself and recognizing your own contributions that you have to give, your own value and power, then it's time to really cut those off at the pass and hone your mind, get more deliberate about how you think and how you use your mind, how you think about yourself, how you think in general. With the Eight of Swords reversed here, there's a real, like, freeing yourself from limiting beliefs, freeing yourself from, so actually, limiting beliefs can be anything from, like, just not believing that you can do something, or believing, like, oh, someone like me can't do that, or I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. Excuses. I think that you are recognizing where you have made excuses in the past. And it's like, listen, here's the thing, right? Here's the next step up from making excuses to not making excuses anymore, is recognizing when you're making an excuse and calling it what it is and saying, I'm not doing that right now because I don't want to, because it's too hard for me to believe in myself, or because I have a limiting belief, and just recognizing that instead of saying, oh, I can't, because you're not putting those limitations on yourself anymore. And that doesn't mean that you immediately have to be jumping into every single thing that you've ever stopped yourself from doing without thinking, or just like completely like, you don't have to be completely confident yet in what you're doing in order to start being honest with yourself. There's definitely a sense of self-honesty about why you might have had certain ways of thinking about your life situation in the past that kept you small and kept you protected, that you're just realizing now you don't need anymore. It's not necessary for you to think that way or feel that way anymore. And you're just clearing it out, honestly. You're clearing it out. And it's clearing the way for a lot more just love in your life. And this could be like, it could be literally for a romantic relationship, right? Like lovers is, it can be directly about a romantic connection, and 10 of Cups can be about like a happy family life. So like maybe that's very literal for some of you. You're like getting out of your own way and seeing how you can have the kind of relationship and future that you want to have. But it doesn't have to be just about a relationship specifically or a family specifically. It's really just about like feeling more connected with yourself and therefore the people in your life and the world around you through love, feeling more like just love for like life, love for the little things, love for each and every moment of your day, love for whatever you're doing in your life. And this is leading you to emotional fulfillment, not just in your future, and believing that maybe the things that you wanted in your future that you felt were more far off are actually closer than you originally thought, and that you can actually easily take action towards those things. But it's like also bringing that feeling of satisfaction that you put in the future into your present, and realizing like you can feel that way now. You don't need to wait until you have a certain thing or have achieved a certain thing to be like, yeah, you know what? My life is pretty good. Goddamn. I'm actually pretty great. I'm proud of who I am, and I know that I am capable of anything. So anything that I have not achieved yet, well, it's only a matter of time. And I also could decide tomorrow that that's not what I want, and that would be fine too. But you are generating your own light. You're generating your own sense of love. You're generating energy from within. You are finding your confidence and independence, and you're not so reliant on factors outside of yourself anymore. And that is making you much more capable of being the person that you always wanted to be all along. It's like, kind of like you're realizing you don't need to prove anything. You already are, right? And now it's just up to you to act in accordance with what you want, and realizing that you can have what you want, so you might as well act in accordance with it. And if you decide that you don't want that, that's also fine. Maybe you can act, there's a different thing that you want, the different way that you want to act, whatever it is. But it's coming from a place of self-confidence rather than a place of, I need to prove myself. I need to prove to myself that I can do this. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You don't feel like that anymore. You've closed out that cycle, and you've realized that the world is really your oyster. And it feels like it's coming from a very healthy place, right? And there can be some egotism in Leo that could, there's the healthy, and then there's the more neurotic sides of all the energies and signs. And, for Leo, there can be a sense of self-centeredness and egotism, and I'm doing this because I want to be recognized. I'm doing this because I want other people to see me and recognize me, which can be fine and might be a stage that we go through, but isn't someplace that we necessarily want to stay. And it's not something we want to rely on, because if we're relying on other people outside of ourselves or other things outside of ourselves that we view as outside of ourselves to validate us and to keep us warm and to keep our energy going exclusively, then when things aren't completely aligned with how we want to feel, then we feel bad. Then we're reliant on things outside of our control rather than inside of our control, which is what's going on within us, right? But I do feel like, for the most part, you've really reached a healthy place with who you are and with your own self-confidence, and realizing that it's okay to have an ego and to think well of yourself and to feel positively about yourself. And there's a way to experience that isn't coming from a place of the like stereotypical like egotism that you see as a bad thing, right? Like the being self-confident to the detriment of another person, where you're like, I'm confident and I'm the most beautiful, I'm the most valid, I'm the best, I'm the whatever. Because that's again relying on someone else to be underneath your level, right? Below you, when you could also just be confident in who you are, just in your individual power, and no one else's status, no one else's existence, it has an impact on that. Like someone can be just as amazing as you in different ways, in their own unique way. Like your self-confidence doesn't rely on someone else's lack thereof, basically. Like I do feel like you're in a very healthy place with this. But for some of you, like that might be coming up because maybe in the past you struggled between like feeling, you might have struggled, like we all do from time to time, right? You might have struggled with the feeling of like inferiority and then superiority, right? Like the pendulum swing between the two. And you've just sometimes you just have to go through that pendulum swing, and then it balances out, right? And you realize, oh, like I don't need to feel better than people, but I don't need to feel worse than people. I can just be actually amazing as I am, independent of like comparison to others. That feels like it's setting you free. Like that could have been one of your limitations, right? One of the things that you believed is that it's either or, and it's not. And you're really seeing and experiencing life from outside of that paradigm and feeling more powerful and more just at ease with yourself. I do feel like there's a sense of self-peace and self-peace. Okay. I don't know what I was originally going to, self-worth maybe, and ease, I guess. Yeah. But like, it's great. And honestly, this feels like a really, like, it feels like, listen, we all have our good days and our bad days, and it's not about being happy and amazing every single second of your life. It's about the experience of life, right? But I do get this overall vibe of like you're almost like you're set for life, in the sense that you've established a good enough foundation for yourself. Like you've really learned and internalized some kind of lesson here that you're never going to experience the past cycle that you've closed out again. It's not going to be in the same way. And there might be new things that come up along your path, but it's not going to be the old things. Like, I feel like there's a sense of confidence and self-worth and fulfillment that are here to stay. Like, that's going to be a basis for you moving forward in a way that it was not before, which is pretty dang cool. So with that, I'm going to shuffle up my quote cards and just get any last minute messages from your spirit guides. Yeah, we'll keep that one. And let's see. Spirit guides of group 3. Anything else? Anything else? That's too many. But we'll shuffle them up if there's any that need to come back out. Okay. Ooh. Spirit guides of group 3. Please pop out any final words that you have for group 3. Okay. Here we go. We have these 2 cards here. So we have this heart with it's like you could see it as either a white heart or a blank space in this black background. And the quote says, "I think you know how to love better than any of us. That's why you find it all so painful." From Fleabag, which is a great show. Yeah, there's definitely a sense of, I feel like you've found a greater connection with love. And I think in the past you might have, like some of you, the cycle that you've closed out is you might have been shutting yourself off from love in any form. In some ways, because like I think there maybe were some like limiting beliefs or ways that you kept yourself distracted or small, because you have a big heart, because you want to be generous in love, and you love deeply, and it can be really painful to go through experiences, especially when you're younger, that don't reflect that back to you, and can shut you down, right? And can cause you to question whether or not you're silly or foolish for feeling that deeply, right? Or whether or not that's even realistic or true, or anyone else can feel that deeply as well. And that might have been part of why you'd closed yourself off for a long time. That again, I feel like you found your way out of that. And you're starting to recognize, you're starting to feel that love in yourself again, which might feel painful or scary still at times, but also is beautiful. And I feel like you're reconnecting with that sense of love. Like I am getting the sense of like Leo can also be like a really like childlike, or 5, the 5th house, which is Leo? Yeah, Leo's in the 5th house. I mean, but it's also the houses are kind of separate. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That can be like childlike energy, creativity, and fun, and romance, and all those things. And I feel like you're returning to a more lighthearted energy around that, from a place of genuine love that feels a lot more easy and comfortable for you. Even though in the past it might have been a bit shut down. Like I feel like your heart has reopened in some aspect. And yeah, you're ready to let it all in again, and you're starting to recognize how, like, as a child, if you were like a really sweet and loving child and sensitive child, that was a beautiful thing, and that it can be a strength to be that sensitive and open and connected, and you're reconnecting with that part of you. Speaking of, we have this quote here with, "That was what magic did. It revealed the heart of who you'd been before life took away your belief in the possible. It gave back the world all lonely children longed for." From Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Yeah, I feel like, there's a reconnection. There's a reconnection to your heart that I feel like you might have had, you might have just shut down a bit, maybe even from like way back in childhood. There could have been something that happened at any point in your life that took away your belief in the possible. And now with the Lovers and Ten of Cups here, you're definitely believing in things that you didn't believe in for a long time. And you're opening yourself back up to that world that you thought was closed off to you in some way. Yeah. Wow. And your spirit guides are letting you know that is that's what's happening, that you're on the right track, that is exactly where you're meant to be. That's beautiful. And they're supporting you in that journey. So if you do feel like you need some support in continuing to release some limiting beliefs, in clearing your mind, in letting go of distractions, in connecting more deeply with your heart and with the emotional fulfillment that you know is possible for you now, they are here to support you, and you can call on them at any time. And they're very proud of you, you know? And they want you to know, like, they're always with you, but you don't need them in order to succeed. It's more like anytime you feel connected with yourself and love, you are connecting with them. And that's just a natural thing that's part of you. And you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. That's what I just heard. Oh, wow. That's lovely. Okay. Yeah, and that's all we've got for you, group 3. So I hope this resonated. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear how this resonated with you. And if you are interested in a personal reading, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com. The link is in the description. And we also offer hypnosis and human design services. By the way, we is me and my mom. I work with my mom, so she is the other person in this business. And if you... Nope, that's it. I did the same thing in the last group too. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful life, and I will see you in another reading again sometime very soon. Bye! Hi, Group 4. If you selected this card, number 22, Mars, with the keyword of motion, then you are in the right place, and this is your reading with messages from your spirit guides. So this is meant to be like a check-in, like you're checking in with them, seeing what's going on, they're checking in with you. How's it going? Here's some messages for you that you need to hear right now for your highest good. That's the intention here. And you don't have to connect with the concept of spirit guides in order to receive something useful here. So keep an open mind. Feel free to stick around even if you're not necessarily into that concept. But yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to woo. That was a wild stutter. Okay, I'm going to discuss this card first, the astrology oracle card, and then we'll get more information with the Mystic Mondays Tarot, and I will also pull a card or two from the my handmade quote cards for ending messages from your guides. But let's first talk about your astro oracle card here. So your guides want you to know. Well, first of all, so the number 22 reduces to the number 4 in numerology. Well, your group number 4, so that's exciting. So 4 might be a very significant number for you. The number 4 is one of stability. And yeah, there's a definite sense of stability. I feel like your guides are letting you know that in some way, maybe physical or maybe like more spiritually, there's a stable foundation under you. I think that's important for you to know because you are definitely meant to be taking action at this time, and they're wanting you to know that, like, it's almost like you'll leap and you'll land on like a stable foundation, like a stable platform. Like you don't have to worry about, like, you could take I sort of like take action with reckless abandon, which I don't know if that's like take that with a grain of salt, right? Like don't throw yourself into anything like terribly risky or whatever that you know is not aligned with you. But I mean, like, I think I'm getting the sense that maybe for some of you, you've been a little bit like you've held back for a while and you haven't been sure if you're ready to take certain actions, and it's like, nope, you're ready. There might even be like, I'm feeling like a sense that there might be like several things that you've waited to do that you've hesitated on for a long time, or maybe like taking your time with, and now they're like, okay, it's time to like bam, 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 just do it, right? Just do it. Like I'm getting like Nike, just do it. Yeah, so like if you're looking for something like, and there might be like multiple things at once that you've been thinking about that you want to bring in, and you're seeing it align, and you're like, okay, like I think I'm ready for all of these things, but maybe I should just do like one thing at a time. It's like you don't have to wait, you don't have to slow down. You can do this and this and this and this, and you're ready for that. You've got a solid enough foundation, and it won't overwhelm you. Of course, take that as it resonates. You know yourself and your situation best, but they are letting you know that it's time to take action. You are ready to take action, and things around you might start moving a lot faster. And I feel like you're ready for that. I feel like you've also, like, there's a foundation of energy that you've cultivated for yourself, and you have, like, maybe in the past you were burned out. You didn't have the energy for certain things. It's like, or the energy of the universe wasn't supporting it. It's like now that energy is supporting you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think for some of you, it could even be like, it could even be in an astrological sense. Maybe one of the planets or transits or whatever is interacting with your chart in a way where the energy is supporting certain actions for you that it wasn't before, in a way that it wasn't before. And so now it's up to you to start taking those actions, and you might be feeling that. You might be feeling that support as well. And this is your guides letting you know that, like, yes, that support is there. Also that they are supporting you as well through whatever actions you're taking. So I just said through whatever actions you're taking. So there might also be a message here that as long as you invite it and allow it, your guides can also like take action through you. Like they can step in, like they'll make sure that you don't miss an opportunity or that you take an action that you need to, as long as you're open to that. Like they might actually help function through you to like take certain actions, if that makes sense. So if that resonates, you can take that. So group 4's guides. Let's get more information about what you want to talk to them about this time. Can we get some tarot cards? What do you want group 4 to know? Okay. 5 of Swords. Group 4, okay. 7 of Wands. Interesting. Ace of Swords, that came out in group 3. Okay. Wheel of Fortune and 10 of Pentacles. Oh, okay. We love to see it. And then the 3 of Cups is on the bottom of the deck. That's fun. Okay, cool. I'll put that over here. All right. So, interesting with the 5 of Swords and 7 of Wands coming out first. I was like, feel like that's like aggressive, competitive energy to me, which makes so much sense with Mars. Mars is like the war god, right? Like it's the energy of motion, of action, of aggression. Aries is Aries is ruled by Mars. Is that how they say it? Yeah, something like that. I'm an Aries, so Mars is and my Mars is also in Aries, so like, yeah, there's that aggression, that pent up energy, like, yeah, that need to take action, being very direct, just going for it. Yeah, that's something that, like, it's not like I'm like that in every area of my life, but I definitely feel that urge. I feel that fire. And sometimes even when you feel that and, like, that's a big part of your energy, you don't always exemplify it. But it's time. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes you have to learn how to, like, balance that, right? But with the 5 of Swords and 7 of Wands here, I feel like this is basically saying, like, it's time to get in the fray. Like, it might help you to have a more competitive mindset. Now, in this case, it might be more beneficial to feel like you're competing with yourself. In some cases, like, you know, trying to compete with other people and seeing the world in terms of win, like a win-lose mindset could be disempowering, and it could fuel a mindset of I feel like that's like kind of an old way of seeing the world that might be demotivating in the new kind of. I sense that there's like a change in how we're looking to do things in the world, right? And I feel like I see the energy of sort of capitalism as of being like very 5 of Swords in terms of like everything's got to be win-lose. I have to take from you before you take from me, and I don't feel like that's what this 5 of Swords exemplifies. I feel like though like friendly competition could be a motivator, especially with the 3 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. There's like a very friendly, fun, joyful energy with that. So I feel like that like fun, like friendly competition could be a motivator for you. But also, I mean, what I'm getting with this 5 of Swords is a releasing of a win-lose mindset and a releasing of the idea that if someone does it first or someone beats you to it, that like you can't also succeed, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Like not putting your success on, oh, okay. Like, yeah, if someone takes some kind of action that you've been hesitating on and they're successful in it, sometimes you can see someone else's success as your failure and like feel like there's not enough success to go around. And it's like, no, there is enough success to go around. It's not, don't compare yourself to someone else. Just take the actions that you know you need to take. Someone else doing the thing that you want to do can be a sign that it's possible for you to do it and you can try it yourself. And they might actually show you the way in a sense. So yeah, instead of being competitive in a way that is demoralizing when something doesn't necessarily seem to go in your way, like friendly competition can also mean like, ooh, like, oh, that person, yeah, I'm not gonna let them like get ahead of me. Like I'm gonna I'm gonna be I want to get on their level, right? You know? And as long as you're doing it in like a spirit of joy and lightness, and you're not taking it too seriously when you quote unquote lose, and you're not letting that stop you, that can actually be a helpful motivator if you have other people around you who are in the same kind of field or doing the same kind of thing, who through their sort of through this friendly competition can show you through you competing with them, like even from like a friendly fun way, like it can cause you to be more creative, and it can help you innovate. It can help you say, oh well, oh, you did it that way, well I'm gonna do it this way, or what can I do to like sort of one up them, you know? But again, like all in good fun. There's also the energy of self-sabotage sometimes with the Five of Swords. So I feel like with Mars here, like we're getting rid of that self-sabotage. Like any lingering things that get in the way of you just doing it, just taking the action, we're removing that. Like we're becoming aware of it, and we're done with that. We're done with that. We're leaving that behind. The Seven of Wands can also be, it can be like a me against the world. It can be a little bit like it can be like fighting energy. It can be defensive. But I see, if anything, if there's any of that energy within you, again, like Mars aggression isn't necessarily bad. It can be very motivating, but there's also the downsides of it. But we're releasing anything that's defensiveness or that's fighting against, and rather we're taking this as you're up to the challenge energy, right? There's like a fun, like if you're fighting, if you're putting up a fight, if you're seeing yourself as like in fighting energy, it's like almost like it's the difference between someone who's a competitive athlete and they really have fun at their sport and they really enjoy the act of playing against someone else, right? And when they lose, there might be some disappointment, but it doesn't ultimately shatter their self-confidence. It's more fun that they played the game to begin with, and they also learned through that experience. And there's a real respect for opponents who can teach them something new about the sport that they're doing, and also a respect for opponents who can play on their level, and an excitement at the game itself. And that's what I'm feeling with this Seven of Wands here. That's the energy that we're looking to harness, right? You're not fighting against, you're fighting with, you're playing with. Yeah, again, with the Three of Cups on the bottom of the deck, there's an overall energy of playfulness. So even the energies of competition that can come out here, it's in a playful, fun way, or not at all. That's what I'm feeling. With the Ace of Swords, yeah, okay. So there might be something with using your voice. And we have, oh, look at that. We have Mars holding his sword down, and then we have the Ace of Swords pointing up. So it's like, yeah, these two swords pointing at each other. That is so cool how that turned out like that. I don't know if you can see that. If you can, yeah. It's like, it's kind of cool, right? So, yeah, with the Ace of Swords here, I mean, I feel like this is you taking up the sword. And in this case, swords, you know, they can represent like thought and communication and technology, things that aren't so physical. So for some of you, the action that you're taking might be more related to like something like getting your voice out there, whether through writing, videos, any kind of communication, how you communicate. It's like you're being encouraged to just do it, put your voice out there. Trust that putting your voice out there. Ooh, with the next to the Wheel of Fortune, I almost feel like it's almost like, say you start posting a new blog. You have like a new blog online, and you start posting regularly. You might not get a lot of hits immediately, right? But just keep putting your voice out there. In due time, people will come across your blog, and you can also do things to, you know, get more seen if there's things that you know that you can do that are aligned with you that can get you more views and things like that. Putting yourself out there more can include being just willing to expose yourself to the internet, and in doing so, sometimes it means taking action to deliberately get your voice out there and be seen. But it might not all happen overnight. But with the Wheel of Fortune, it's the idea that you just keep going, you stay where you are, continuing to post and put yourself out there, and eventually you will be found. People will start to pick up what you're saying. People will get a feel for your energy. People will connect with your words, and you just have to do it and just keep doing it. and trust that the Wheel of Fortune is always turning, and it will turn in your favor, and you will be seen and heard. It's just a matter of getting out there, stepping up to the plate, stepping up to the challenge, and like getting excited about it. Like, yeah, like taking on challenges, things that seem difficult or challenging, as like, ooh, this is like a fun challenge. Like, yeah, really like in that Aries Mars energy of like, you're excited about the fight, right? You're excited for it because you enjoy it. You enjoy it. And this is a mindset that I feel like you might already be in, and that might be really exciting for you. But if it's not where you're already at, that might be the sort of solution to any kind of self-sabotage or hesitation that you've been experiencing, is a lightening of the mood around how you approach certain things that you find difficult or challenging, or just like, I don't know how this is gonna work. It's like, okay, like have fun with it. Approach it from a mindset of curiosity and excitement, and like, ooh, I can't wait to overcome this. I can't wait to see how that works out. You know, I'm just gonna do it, and like one step at a time, I'm gonna get there. And yeah, like again, like maybe for some of you, friendly competition is the way to go. Maybe you have people who you can sort of like compete with almost, and it will motivate you. But whatever you can find to motivate you, whatever motivates you, pay attention to that and use that. Be deliberate about motivating yourself. If there's certain things, certain speakers, certain words, certain practices that get you motivated, use that. Use that. And with the Ten of Pentacles here, I feel like it's in a matter of time. Yeah, maybe for some of you, this action is around like your physical abundance, your physical reality, and things that you're creating in your physical reality. I mean, look at that. Wheel of Fortune to Ten of Pentacles, like it's only a matter of time. This Ten of Pentacles, which represents like not just a windfall of like a momentary wealth, it's like generational wealth. I feel like you're continuing to take these actions that are going to create a lasting impact on your physical reality, right? And so even if you're continuing, even if it's hard at first, right? I feel like this is like getting started energy. So getting started can be slow, and you might not know what you're doing, and you might feel like, am I taking the right action? What I'm doing isn't even having an impact. It's like continuing to do that over time. The Wheel of Fortune will turn. This Ten of Pentacles will turn up for you. And you just kind of have to keep going at it. Trust yourself. Take the action. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it without an attachment to a specific outcome in the moment, because you actually don't know, and it's not your responsibility to know exactly how things will come to fruition. It's going to happen. Like, your spirit guides are letting you know. They can see this. They can see this. And just as with the other groups, they are also here supporting you in this process. I almost feel like there is an element where I did say there's a potential where if this resonates with you, and if also you're open to it, your spirit guides can act through you. And so you can invite that in. You can just intend that, like, hey, spirit guides, like, I welcome you stepping in and helping me take this action, supporting me in this action, showing me the best action to take. But there's also an element of like, you don't need permission. You don't need to ask them if something's the right thing to do. You just do it. And I almost think it's like the act of taking action in your case right now is more important than the outcome of that action right now. It's just like, or the wisdom of it. It's like, obviously, you know, don't act rashly or dangerously without thought, but more like if there's something that you would have hesitated before because you're like, oh, well, is this the right thing? Or like, do I need to do this or this or this? And you would have gotten too caught up in the details. It's like more about just doing it, getting the thing moving first. And then as you go, you'll start to figure out, okay, I'll do it this way next time. Or like, okay, like, let's do it this way now. It's like, but you got to get it going. You got to kick it off. You got to start the motion going. And once the wheel is turning, it's just going to keep turning. Just keep that momentum going. Yeah, you're definitely building up momentum here. And if there's anything that you haven't started yet, it's time to start, baby, because you got to start building up that momentum no matter how long it takes, right? It's going to take way less long, not as long as, like, if you wait to do it, then it's going to take way longer than if you just start doing it and start building that momentum, even if it doesn't kick off immediately. I'm going to take this card. And then, I'm getting quote cards from your guides, by the way. So, group 4 spirit guides, anything else you want to say to group 4 before we close this reading out? Anything else you want, group 4 to know. That's too many. So anything else you want? Group 4 to know. One more. Let's see if we can get another quote card. Just one more. Group 4. Okay, I'll take that one. We have this card, which is just blank black ink. And the quote says, "The essence of growth is to put more attention on context rather than content," from Existential Kink by Carolyn Elliott. A really interesting book that could be useful if you find yourself really stuck in certain cycles of self-sabotage or taking actions that are actually like working against you. There's a lot in there about helping yourself get out of that cycle. And part of it is learning to enjoy the cycle itself. So that could also be another thing if you find yourself in cycles that are repetitive and annoying and frustrating, and you want to get out of them. One way it might be to learn what aspect of the cycle is helping you, like why you keep taking the actions that are working against you, and learn to just let yourself enjoy them, because part of you does enjoy them. Now, of course, it depends on what exactly it is that we're talking about here. And if you want to read the book, she explains it in a lot more detail and in a really interesting way. So I definitely recommend it. But let's focus on the quote at hand, which is the essence of growth. And this is about growth because we have the 10 of Pentacles here, like definitely like action, taking action and growing through that action. The essence of growth is to put more attention on context rather than content. Ooh, context rather than content. Okay, so I'm forgetting the exact, I wish I could remember the exact context of this quote because I feel like there's something really significant there, but how it's coming through in this case, which may or may not align exactly with what she meant in this quote, is almost like what I was saying before about like, it's not necessarily exactly what actions you're taking that are the big deal. It's almost like the context in which you're taking those actions. So like, are you taking, what place are you taking an action from? Are you taking it from a place of empowerment or disempowerment? Are you taking it from a place of like excitement and curiosity and like intent towards growth? Or are you taking it in like the opposite direction of that, right? And so paying attention to that, and then, oh yes, it's like choosing when and where you act from, what kind of energy you act from. So it's not necessarily like it's okay to act from a place where you realize, okay, maybe I didn't want to act from that kind of energy, right? Like if you're in an energy of jealousy and you like react to something from a place of jealousy, you might not want to do that consistently in the future, but you can also still make the most of whatever action you took and learn something from it and grow from it, right? So there's always that possibility for growth. You don't have to be so rigid about like whether you're taking action from the best place or not and be so like hard on yourself about that or be too vigilant about that. And yet at the same time, you can cultivate an awareness of what place am I taking action from, and would I prefer to take action from this place, or would I prefer to wait until I'm in a certain state to take action from that place? And can I shift my energy in this moment to one that is more aligned with me and then see what action I'm inspired to take from that place, right? And so it could mean holding yourself back from certain actions because you know you're not in the right headspace, not in the right energy, and cultivating the right energy, and then seeing what action you want to take and being very deliberate about that. And I feel like for some of you, you've actually been working on that in some way, shape, or form. So this would be a message then that you can trust the context that you're acting within, and you know yourself, you know where you're acting from. And so it's going to get easier for you to act from a better place from now on. Like you can trust where your intentions are coming from, and you've put a lot of work into that. And for some of you, it might be letting you know that you want to be more deliberate about that. You know, you don't have to be hyper vigilant about it, but start to cultivate more of an awareness and make more deliberate choices. Like sometimes it might be really hard if you're wanting to react to something in a certain way that you usually are used to doing, when you know that you actually want a different result than you usually get. So you would have to respond in a different way, and being present and stopping yourself in that moment and resetting can feel difficult at first, right? You can feel like there's certain things working against you, but once you you break that in, once you train your brain to respond in a different way, it becomes easier over time. The more you just keep doing it, keep choosing it. I feel like that's also with this Eight of Swords here. It's almost like creating new neural pathways, creating new ways of thinking and being, creating new ways of responding, new ways of acting. That again, like, will compound over time and create great change and lasting change in your life, right? But this is about consistent, regular action and effort in the direction that you want to go in. And yeah, you're ready to take some actions that you've been holding back on, and you're also ready to change some actions that maybe have been getting in your way and take new action. And then we have this card here, which, just pointing out before I flip it over, has this lovely pink and green, which I associate with the heart chakra, because that can be very pink and green. So heart chakra might be very significant for you. That could be something you want to focus on. And the quote is, "Your outer journey may contain 1,000,000 steps. Your inner journey only has one, the step you are taking right now." From The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This to me is very much about a journey, because it's about motion. It's about the steps that you take. And this is kind of similar to some of the messages we got in a couple other groups, but yeah, your outer journey may contain 1,000,000 steps. Your inner journey only has one, the step you are taking right now. Yeah, wrap your head around that one. Every single day, every single thing that you do is a little step in the direction of where you want to go. And it's not just the physical actions that you're taking, it's what's going on within you and where you're taking that action from. And that is really what we're focused on here. And we're focused on taking action from a place that is fun and loving, right? This Three of Cups here, that can be a card of friendship and connection, but like at the heart of that is fun and enjoyment, right? It's often depicted with three women with cups dancing and just having a good time, and there's a lightheartedness about it. And I feel like that is where you're looking to take action from. Like, you want your life to feel more lighthearted, and therefore the feeling of lightheartedness is what you want to motivate your actions. It's what you want to inform the actions that you take. So you can notice when you're acting from a place that feels more lighthearted and fun, and you can notice when you're acting from a place that feels heavier and maybe from a place that you're not interested in rewarding or responding to from yourself anymore. And yeah, and that can be your signpost of when it's the time to act and when it's the time to cultivate some kind of inner state that is more aligned with the feeling that you want to perpetuate in your life. Because it's like, what feelings you act on, what feelings motivate you, will continue to show up to motivate you. It's almost like someone who used to be motivated by like negative feedback, like, oh, someone said that about me, I'm going to prove them wrong. And that used to be their motivation, and that worked to spur them into action for a long time. But maybe that way of being motivated has run its course and it's not feeling good anymore. It's not feeling aligned. Well, can you train yourself to then be motivated by positive feedback, or to be motivated by something like fun, feeling good, feeling light, feeling excited, just curiosity for curiosity's sake? And can that motivate you? Can that sustain you? Can that bring you through each and every day? Can you maintain that even in moments where you're maybe not feeling so motivated? Can you still have some discipline, but you don't act exclusively from discipline, because you also create more motivate, and like having a balance too between like disciplined, consistent action and taking action even when in the moment you might not always feel like it. You're not falling back on self-sabotaging habits of like holding back because you're like, oh, I just don't feel like it today, right? Having some discipline, so you still, you're like, okay, like I don't feel like it right now, but I'm still going to get up and do the thing. But then also like taking actions that help you feel more motivated consciously by saying, okay, like, well, when I move my body a little bit in the morning, like that helps me feel more motivated and lighthearted, ready to go. So I'm going to make it a point to do that even when I don't feel like it, because I know it'll help keep me going, right? And doing so from a place that is lighthearted and joyful, and just overall less like placing less weight on yourself. Like you're just like, hey, no, listen, like this is fun, so let's have fun with it. And maybe you don't feel like getting up and taking this action right now, But is it more fun to just stay in bed and just like, bleh, like, you know, not do anything? If that doesn't feel more fun, then let's go make some fun for ourselves. You know? Like, that's kind of what I'm feeling. So that's paying attention to your inner journey and how that impacts your outer journey. And honestly, I feel like I've looped back around to group one almost. Like, each group has kind of like fed off of the other, and then we've kind of made our way back to sort of the main message that we started group one with. So it doesn't matter if you didn't watch group one or whatever. We don't have to get into it here. I still think that they're, well, separate readings that you can get different messages from. But I do feel like, as someone who's obviously been exposed to all of the groups, I can make connections between them. And it's really interesting how we sort of like, we kind of did loop around to like the start of group one, which was very focused on like like making connections between the micro and the macro, and like the bigger picture and like the smaller picture, like the little pieces of like your day to day that then connect to make the bigger picture of your experience, and like the individual contribution to society that makes the bigger picture of like the existence that we have, and the individual steps that you can take every single day in your day that create your experience and also create your future and create your physical reality, and how those individual pieces fit in with a greater whole, right? And giving each piece its weight and its due, but also like being chill about it, being relaxed about it, not getting too nitpicky with yourself, not getting too caught up in the details, being able to see both the bigger picture and the smaller picture. So I hope that resonates. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to your guides as well. And please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. You can do all three. That'd be great. I would love to hear your feedback how this resonated, if you want to comment. And also, if you're interested in personal tarot readings, we do offer those on our website, sunflowerphilosophy.com, link in the description, as well as hypnosis and human design services, which I do with my mom. So that's the we in this equation. Just in case you're wondering, I work with her. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful life and Nope, that's it. I hope you have a wonderful life. I'm not sure what else there is to say after that. All right. Yeah. Bye.